Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kardash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, a great millstone, pushing his word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Hakim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, pushing his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, that be like unto the speckled bird, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to y'all out there. And this is another quick sit-down lesson on this May the 29th, 2022, Sunday afternoon at 5:09 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Sunday. And this is a sit-down lesson like I mentioned before. And the title of the sit-down lesson is Rumors of Wars. And this is a news article from RT.com. This is recently, and this is published on May the 19th. I mean, not May the 19th. This is published on May the 29th, 2022. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, Israel threatens Russia. Not Russia. Israel threatens rival over attacks through proxies. And you look up the definition of proxies. Let's see. Proxies is the authority to represent someone else, especially in voting, a figure that can be used to represent and value something in calculation. And I'm going to look at word proxies. A person authorized to act on behalf of another, plural proxies. Proxies. It says proxies. The agency, function, or official of a duty who acts as a substitute for another. Authority or a power to act for another. Document giving such authority, specifically a proxy of attorney authorizing a specified person to avert or corrupt stock. And it says Iran's era of immunity is over. Israeli Prime Minister says vowing to go after the head of the octopus for entangling violence. It says Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has called out Iran for attacking its country through terrorist proxies, saying the Persian Gulf nation will no longer go unpunished for using third parties to strike its enemies. As I brought out the definition of proxies, it says for decades the Iranian regime has practiced terrorism against Israel and the region by means of proxies. Emiracies by the head of the octopus. Iran itself has enjoyed the immunity, Bennett said on Sunday in a broadcast to the ministers. As we have said before, the era of the Iran regime is over. It says Bennett made his comments just 1 week after the assassination of an Islamic Revolutionary Guard corps, calling Colonel in Tehran, calling Hassan Khada'i, if I pronounce his name right, who have made accused of plotting abduction and the killings of Israelis, was shot dead last Sunday as he sat at the wheel of his car outside his home. A gunman on the back of a motorcycle carried out the killing. It says the IRGC quickly blamed the assassination on the global argents, apparently alluding to the U.S. and Israel. Iran's ISNA news agency later blamed operatives of a Israeli intelligence network said that they had been arrested by the IRGC immediately after the shooting. Wednesday, the New York Times reported that the Israeli government has told the U.S. official that it was behind the assassination. The shooting was meant as a warning to Iran to halt operations. The IRGC covert quad forces, the Times said, citing unidentified U.S. military officials, was brief on the matter. Korodari was a member of the elite quad forces, which operate overseas. Israel Mossad intelligence agencies has previously been accused of killing nuclear scientists in Iran. Bennett officials hasn't commented officially on the Qadar shooting. The Prime Minister said on Sunday that Iran repeatedly targeted Israelis' interests and plead to hold the Tehran regime accountable. Those who finance terrorists, those who arm terrorists, and those who send terrorists will pay the full price, he vowed. The Iran President Ibrahim Raisi has promised to take revenge for the killings of Qadar. I call on security officials to seriously investigate the crime, and I have no doubt that the revenge on the criminals for the pure blood of this honorable matriarch is inevitable, he said on Monday. It says it was the most high-profile killing in Tehran since the murder of the nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 2020, which was 2 years ago. Early that same year, Quad Forces Commander General Qassem Soleimani was assassinated in a U.S. airstrike in Baghdad airport. So yeah, these two been going at each other for quite some time. Now it's starting to heat back up between Iran and Israel, because they continue taking shots at one another. They look at one another as adversaries. And these increase of these two nations got that animosity and not liking one another, it's furthermore increasing. And it's going to increase more, and it's going to lead to World War III. And it's going to lead into a war between these two nations, And I'm going to bring out a scripture. Now we're starting to see these wars and rumors of wars are definitely increasing on a day-to-day basis, as I bring out these lessons, and brothers around the world as well too, And this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." That was a rumor of war right there, as I read that news article from RT.com. "And see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet," right? Because the man of the Lord, we know these things, constantly continue to grow and learn these things and this truth, because we learned it from the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Been pushing this word for 30 plus years, been warning us and telling us these things, and the elders and the deacons and the bishops, and the Akim and the Specklebird brethren through the four corners of the globe. That's why the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son set up the men of the Lord, for us to preach these things, to do these sit down lessons, be on the highways and byways, you know, because we're we're living in biblical prophecy times, because things like this and relates to wars and rumors of wars, which is war-like related, this going to furthermore increase, with these nations shall rise against nations and the kingdom against kingdoms. Second war was passed, third war coming quickly, because we are definitely seeing the increase of the World War III, because we already know the second war was passed already. Now we are entering the stages, and it's starting to further more build up more and more into World War III, especially with these nations starting to have their growing tension towards one another, even though they've been having this tension between each other for a very long time. But it's starting to more increase once again. These animosities towards these two nations are starting to increase, and it come to a point when that time comes, it's going to lead to war between these two nations, and many other nations that's going against one another as well too. It's going to further increase into war, because they taking shots at one another, blaming one another for economic sanctions, something that's economic related, something that's warlike related, and verbal assaults towards one another. And it's going to come to a point in time, with these two different nations and people going against one another. It's going to lead out to an all-out war, because we're living in those times. And it's going to furthermore escalate and increase, Now, it's going to be times the tensions might settle down a little bit, but it's going to furthermore increase, especially with this Iran and Israel thing, they're going to continue to be at each other's throats, Let me go to verse 7 in the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. And I'm going to the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by anybody, right? Because more upcoming prophecies are coming as well too, with for the push for the MOTB, up wars of the people of the world, earthquakes in diverse places, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdoms. These are the beginning of sorrows, and many more other things that's biblical prophecies, because we are living in a time of prophecies, according to the Holy Scriptures, and according to the Yahweh Bashem Shai, which is the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. In the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh Shai, that's the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son, true name. In the ancient Paleo Hebrew, because, you're going to hear of these commotions, wars and commotions. The nation shall rise against nations and the kingdom against kingdoms, and further increasing. The Heavenly Father's going to stir up the Russians, He's going to have Iran to go to war with Israel, Gonna have Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, South Korea, India, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Libya, Turkey, all these nations is going to go into war, So it's going to furthermore increase, And I'm going to bring out Revelations 11:14, and I'm going to close out this lesson for today. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures in verse 14 in the book of Revelations, because we are definitely living in the book of Revelations, definitely living in those times in the book of Revelations, and it's showing right before our eyes around the world as well too, within our inner circle and our outer circle as well too, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, right? Because woe means destruction, because World War III is coming, and we're seeing signs of that, and it's further increasing. This quick sit-down lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua, Salakia. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. Until next time, I will say shalom and above the ball.